and all reaching to the safe persons, the reaching to the assembly areas, those things it is required. Assistance of casualty arrival areas to record details of casualties, who and our deceased personnels, who and are under the safe conditions, all have reached or not. Manning the factory entrance in licensed security to direct emergency vehicle continuing the gate. Because in case of any emergency situations, all the personnel may be evacuated. Only the experienced team staff and along with the essential services personnel only will be required into the premises. In that condition also, it is required that complete coordination is being maintained over there by the task force and team leaders. Essential work teams may be task force and repair team, who and all will be under the maintenance of the things, who and all will be handling with the medical team. So different agencies, a collection of the group, collection of the people it is. In so as for the different agency plan, firefighting team, security conditions, who and all will be communicating for the technical job, engineering control methods, who and all will be communicating in the different agencies. Those things has to be identified under the control systems, under the preparedness and plan systems. Firefighting team, who and all will be associated, who and all are skilled personnel, trained personnel, those things. Communication team, so involving with the communication conditions, security team, transport team, first and medical team, safety team, those things has to be well communicated in proper conditions. Then comes about alarm system. So alarm system at any type of alarm, but it should be distinguished that type, something different type alarm it should be, so that it can be that proper communication personnel should not get confused about the emergency alarm condition or general condition. So those alarm also has to be identified in proper ways and has to be designated. In case of any electrical failure conditions, alarm system may not work. In that conditions, hand operated siren, simple fire bell, so those things, break open type, fire alarm, etc. So those things can be kept. So whatever way, what the ways in which it can be communicated immediately to the premises conditions, those things has to be observed. Or automatic alarm may be needed for highly hazardous nature of plant. So by the it may be linked with the our sensitive operation conditions also, because there's simply one alarm will be, persons will be cautious, then message will go to the work main controller, then he will assess the hazards. By that time it will be reset conditions, and then assessing of the things it will be done, and it then declaration if it is required about the on-site, offsite, etc. it can be made. Then siren for emergency. Siren for emergency should be different from the normal siren. And if it is even on-site, off-site conditions also, the emergency siren should be audible to a distance of 5 km radius. So it should be well communicated into the cluster of factories. So to be aware about the situations and to ready with the emergency situations. Then the emergency siren should be used only in case of emergency only. So those things, or even mock drill conditions also it can be used. So those things should be kept and should be preserved conditions only. So completely under the authority that alarm systems has to be kept. So in that condition, no one should be able to use it. Those things also has to be understood. Then under the communication system, walkie-talkie, telephone, internal and external conditions. So internal ways what we are communicating, that in intranet we are calling. So those things also. And back to the other agencies also, what it can be intercom, not internet, intercom, that within the premises condition, what it can be communicated, for other external agencies, what way. So those things has to be observed. Cell phone, intercom, runners means in case of power failure. So then no communication will be made into the different agencies. In that conditions, our task force team leaders, they have to communicate into the different agencies. Either it may be verbal or written message, but it should be the clear information, it should be correct information. Those things has to be ensured properly. Escape route we have discussed, and under the from the incident site, the shortest route it should be, and clearly unobstructed site it should be to the to come into the escape outside of the particular affected areas, and it should be normal escape route to the assembly points. So those things also has to be ensured. The escape route from each and every plant should be clearly marked. The escape route is the shortest route to reach out of the plant area to open area, which leads to the assembly point. So it should be ensured that all should get collected to the assembly point only. This route should be indicated on the layout plan attached to the on-site environment. See under the layout conditions where and all the assembly points are there. So nearest assembly point. So as per the different agencies or different divisions, so nearest assembly points they have designated assembly points. The persons has to report to that assembly point, particularly those assembly points only. So that one also has to be taken into consideration and has to be under the training education purposes. All persons should know about their assembly points also. So even they are reaching to the another assembly points also, it will be counted. It is not that, but shortest route will be shortest route will be linked with the nearest assembly point. All non-essential staff should be evacuated from the emergency site. As soon as the emergency siren rings, the workers have to shut down the plant. This immediate emergency shutdown button also it has to be under the functioning conditions, those things also, and they have to switch it off and they have to come to the assembly points. The plant shutdown procedure in case of emergency should be prepared and kept ready, and it should be well explained to the workers involved into the areas, and responsible persons should be nominated for the purposes. So some sensitive operations may have some different procedures, and those things either it may be well tested into the areas or the designated persons should be able to reach to those areas. So those things has to be ensured. So in proper documented conditions, it should be available over there. The counting of personnel, as we have discussed that our time office clerk or that administrative staffs that they have to be they will be authorized for those conditions. In that conditions at the assembly point areas, they will be counting the personals and they will be communicating. They will be communicating to the site incident control in case of any missing person. So all the records in that condition for counting of personal purposes. That attendance register also has to be made available so that it has been given charge to the administrative people. So attendance register also has to be, and along with the contractors or visitors visited inside the plant premises. In that conditions, they can they can check correctly in the conditions and the persons can be evacuated from the affected area. So those things can be installed properly. So all personnel working in the plant should be counted. Time office persons should collect the details of personnel arriving at the assembly point. This should be checked with the attendance of regular workers, contract workers present in the site on the day of emergency. So at the day of emergency, who and all were available. Even if it is not documented, it will be very unsafe condition. Those things also have to be ensured. So all the documentation about the staffs or the visitors or the workers, contractors entering into the site, all has to be under the logbook condition. It has to be logged. The accident controller should be informed, and the accident control should be informed about the arrangement should be made for searching and missing persons. So after counting of personnel, administrative people will be intimating to the site incident controller. Site incident controller will send the people with the task force team for collecting the persons from the site, from the areas. And about the missing persons, they will collect information regarding address, contact number, and next to kin should be maintained in the time office, so that during emergency, the relatives of those affected may be intimated properly. Information in respect of emergency should be given to the media and others. So in case of any outside emergency or beyond control conditions, if it is, so those things, the information can be passed, but with the information of the site incident controller, that counting of personnel, that time office in charge will give intimation to the information to the site incident controller. Site incident controller will pass the message to the works main controller. Works main controller will address to the media and other agencies if it is required. So those things has to be complete in order conditions. It has to be made. Then it comes about all clear signal. Whenever emergency has been declared, so then the different task force will be acting in different agencies for the bring out under the normalcy conditions. When all the abnormal situations have been corrected and plant is okay, So in that conditions, so these things will be, that all clear signal can be made. So after control of emergency, the work incident controller will communicate to the works main controller about the end of emergency, and works main controller will give the instruction to pass all clear signals. So in this condition, so then all clear. So about the all the time of his groups, so about the head counting, everything has been cleared and corrected. After that, all clear sirens can be blown. Then about mutual aid systems should be introduced among industries, so that in case of fire conditions, medical aid conditions, so in those purposes, it is required that all mutual aid has to be maintained within the clusters of factories. And essential elements of this scheme, maybe mutual aid must be written documents and the chief agent. So works main controller will be, so they have to observe the conditions. So that one has to be observed. So those things has to be seen. Specify key personnel who are authorized to give requisition of materials from other industries. So from other industries, who and all will be seeing that, and under the mutual aid system, so who and all key persons will be, so those things will be given, will be seen under this condition. So key persons who are authorized to give requisition of materials from other industries. So means to whom, in case of emergency, to whom to be contacted, and from where the material has to come. So proper documentation has to be made under the mutual aid system. So it is a documentary thing. So specify the available quantity of material, what kind of material they have, and how much they need from the other agencies properly. The available quantity of material, equipment that can be spared. So by other agencies also, they have to keep ready. So here also in every premises, in case of emergency, how much it can be spared with the other agencies. So those things also has been kept the ready-made data, ready-made available data. So in this condition, this can be, that can be sought from the other agencies also. Mode of payment, replacement of material given during an emergency. So what it's under MOU. So all the things has to be understood and clearly explained, so that in case of any abnormal condition, in case of any emergency conditions, it can be handled without any hurdles. And in that mutual aid system, if it is required, whenever it is required, so it can be updated also from time to time based upon the experience gained. So other from the earlier time, whatever has happened in those conditions, those drawbacks should not be occurring again. So those things also has to be made corrected. So those things has to be available. Then mock drill conditions. So that about emergency systems we have understood about. So under the mock drill conditions, as the under the emergency situations, no deficiencies should take place. In that regard, well preparation it is required. For the well preparation conditions, it is very much required that it is built in the different period, the particular periodical this thing. So in that regard, it is required that mock drill has to be done. That has to be maintained in every 6 months. It has to be made, and sequence of events should be recorded. So what and all incident they have counted for the emergency conditions. So because mock drill condition mainly is for the educating the employee for in case of emergency, what and all they have to do it, who and all other tasks, to identifying the responsible persons and to communicate the responsibilities. So in that condition, this is for the improvement purposes also. So on mock drill on emergency planning should be conducted once in 6 months, and sequence of events should be recorded for improvement of the exercise. So what and all has been taken care, those things also has to be observed. Exercises on on-site emergency planning should be monitored by factory inspector. So mock drill, if it is being conducted, those things has to be communicated to the different to the factory inspectorate in that conditions. So they will be, so one documentation will be under proof that mock drill is being conducted, and the higher officials of the organization, and the plan is reviewed every year. So if we have discussed that every time some hazard conditions due to expansion, due to modification, due to changing to the process systems, due to updation of the systems, some advancement of the system may require. Wherever advancement is being considered, in that place, hazards also may get advanced. So in that conditions, it has to be reviewed at the every year conditions. So those things also has to be. Then procedure for mock drills, inform all the employees about the importance and procedures for mock drills. So they should not take into lighter way. So that also they have to identify the signals also. So in that condition, they have to observe, fix the date and location of the emergency for mock drill without knowledge of the employee. So common people should not know. Then only their action will be noted. So what and all has been done and what and all deficiencies were there, so that in case of emergency they should be well prepared and they should be acting in proper conditions. Mock drills will be monitored by observers who will be one of the senior officer or officer from outside organization. So they have to see the things wherever the things has to be corrected, those things also has to be observed. So and the group who is not involved with the exercise, those group only should be the observer in these conditions. Raise the alarm for emergency after communicating to the people. So then it is alarm is raised. After hearing the siren, site controller with required number of employees will move on the emergency site to combat this. So it is simply a picture of the emergency situation is being created, and the tackling of the emergency situation, how is being handled, those things also will be counted. He will depute persons for calling the fire brigade. So fire brigade persons will be deputed. Rescue evacuation team should work in coordination with the emergency team. So a victim also will be fixed for the mountain conditions. In that conditions, how he is being evacuated. So those things also has to be noted. Office clerk will be responsible for head counting conditions. Site or incident controller will address system about drills to the employees assembled at assembly point. So at assembly point, he will declare this was the emergency, this was the mock drill, and their actions will be noted. And if it is required, so some correction if it is required, that it will be advised in later of time. All clear signals should be given. So after the clearing the thing, after emergency situations or mountain conditions, so whenever mountain is clear, so that the site, whatever identification where my task force have corrected the thing, they have reported to the site, they have observed the situations. After that, all clear signals should be given once situation is under control and safe to occupy. Then again the normal operation off or has to be left under the your safe conditions. So those things also, if it is, if that one will, that operation will not be disturbed by the adjacent area of functioning conditions. So those things also has to be observed, and in this condition mounted has to be conducted. The emergency facilities for this purpose, fire protection and firefighting facilities, emergency lighting and standby power. So because the emergency lighting, some emergency may come due to failure of lighting also. So either DG set, battery operated system. So some standby power facility also has to be available with the site. Emergency resuscitator, water gel blanket, low temperature suit, first aid kit, stretcher, torches, ladders. This and all emergency equipment has to be well available with the facilities. So under safety equipment, respirator, about the PPs, respirator, gumboot, safety helmet, asbestos, rubber hand gloves, goggles and face shield, toxic gas measuring instrument. Because some places due to release of toxic gas also it may be occurring. So toxic gas measuring instrument also to be required. Explosive meter, oxygen measuring instrument. So oxygen measuring instrument for the general areas also, more in the confined space areas also to be required. So those things has to be available. Wind direction indicators. These things and all other safety equipment. On-site emergency plan should contain or normally plan the documentation. Document conditions we are observing site plan and topographical plan. So all the planning conditions, all the diagram, it has to be well available. Showing the firefighting facilities, where and all fire hydrant systems, firefighting facilities, what and all to be operated at what place it is being maintained. All the details has to be documented. Plans showing hazardous material storage area. So those things, MSDS for hazardous chemicals has to be available. facilities available in my main control center. In main control center, what kind of facilities are available? Those things has to be list of emergency equipment, list of safety equipment, list of important telephone numbers, nearest hospital, ambulance service center, fire station, government officials. So external agencies, not that inside government officials, phone numbers, who and all are the authorities, transport providers. So this name, address, and contact detail of key personnel. So within the plan and outside the plan, about the mutual aid conditions, who and all has to be. So those things also be under the complete documentation conditions. So this should be so prepared and so documented in printed form or even in soft copy also. It should be well available with everybody. To give all concern for knowledge, study and easy follow-up. Emergency plan survey rehearsal, the mock drill has to be made at regular intervals. That we have gone through. That 6 months. 6 months mock drill has to be required. Updation of the emergency plan every year it is required. The plan so prepared should be updated annually and uploaded in the factory website for easy reference. So reference purposes also it may be an essential document for that purposes. Then under the MSIC rule, as per the rule 13, as per schedule 11, it has the details of on-site emergency plan format has been given. Name, address of the person furnishing the information, the occupier, key personnel of the organization and responsibilities assigned to them in case of an emergency. Who and all task force will be there, site incident controller, communication officer, all the details has to be well documented. Outside organization, if involved, and then in assisting during on-site emergency, type of accident, responsibility assigned, these things also will be. The information on the preliminary hazard analysis, type of accident, means assessing the hazard for the risk assessment. Audible now it is?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So about details of the site, description of hazardous chemicals at plant site, chemicals, transformation, means in case of any intermediate reaction, some byproduct may get formed. So those all the details means chemical kinetics, as per the thermodynamical characteristic of the chemicals or materials, whatever is being handled into the premises. So about the hazard identification, so what and all it has been done, those things can be purity of hazardous chemicals. So those things has to be noted. What kind of chemicals they are handling it into the premises. So in that conditions, it will be very much easier for identifying the hazards conditions also. Then likely dangers to the plant. What kind of sensitive operations are there, and what may be the sensitive for the working personnel also. These things and all has to be made documented. Enumerate effect of stress and strain caused during normal operation, fire and explosion inside the plant, fire and explosion outside the plant. If it is, then what may be the impact inside? So those things also. In details regarding warning, alarm and security systems, alarm and hazard control plan, reliable measuring instrument, precautions in designing of the foundation, continuous surveillance of operation, maintenance and repair work according to the generally recognized rules of good engineering practices. So repair work schedule, etc. has to be maintained properly. Details of communication facilities, details of firefighting and other facilities available, details of the first aid and hospital services. So under the mutual aid condition, due to understanding agreement conditions, what kind of facilities they have, all the details has to be well documented under the on-site emergency conditions, and under the MSIC rule, all the things under which category the things is getting failed, so that one has to be ticked out and has to be submitted to the factory inspector or the authorities wherever it is to be submitted. Those things have to be observed. So this was the planning and preparedness about on-site emergency conditions. So by this, I want to conclude this thing. So we have to go in detail also, but this things I have sorted the thing. I have gone through. So any questions in this regard? Please, you can raise the questions about any of the topics. No, don't come out. Wait. Oh, yes, anybody is having any question, please? Any questions, please? No. All happy, all satisfied.
Sir, one second, sir. I have one query.
Tell me.
While making inside emergency plan, what type of access we have to insert the backside of the plan?
That MSIC under MSIC rule 11, what your format we have observed, no? So this format is the main format for reporting the on-site emergency.
Okay.
So in the MSIC, this thing that is under the schedule, it has been given. So that form only it will be valid format for the reporting to the factory inspector or the respective authorized agencies.
Yeah.
Dear participants, any questions, please?
No, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, then better to give your feedback. Dinesh, yes. Will you please give me your feedback? No. Dinesh, yes. Arish. Yeah. Okay, good. Dinesh.
Yes, sir. Sachin is good, sir.
Just will you please speak few words about this training program? Okay. So that what are all the deficiencies we will come to know. We better to improve the training program after getting your feedback. Okay. Moreover, it's supposed to be a two-way communication. Okay. All the sessions we took nicely, but only thing we have to get feedback from you.
What are the
And only
standards
become
and
two-way
strategies
communication. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Sir, what are the standards and strategies given in that one? We should have in tablet form so that we can get that.
Will you please speak louder? Hello. Will you please speak louder? Dear participant, will you please speak louder? Dear Kumar, will you please share your feedback?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's
Yeah.
I wanted to participate in this program because I should have some the plan. Okay, what is practice in the industry about the how to prepare the emergency plan, how to execute it, how to connect the drill, what are the teams should be there. It's very interesting thing. Very useful for us.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
We appreciate because of my company. You all are my team, sir.
Yeah, okay. Vishwesh Patel. Vishwesh Patel. Rajesh Kumar Raut.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
Will you please give me your feedback here?
Sir, the section is very good and
Yeah.
informative.
Yeah.
Uh, the training season is good.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Praveen Keshav.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Very nice session, sir.
Yeah.
All
Very good. Very good. Thank
many
you. Yeah.
sessions, and this one is nice.
Okay. 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 Any participant, if you want to share anything, will you please feel free to share. Okay. Now we have come to a concluding session. I would like to thank all the participants on behalf of DT Fast Lab for participating in this online training program. Yeah. 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 Madam. Thank you, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Within 15 days, you will get e-certificate. If those who are not receiving e-certificate, may send a mail to RLI Chennai. Okay. Once if you are not received within 15 days, you revert back. Okay. So that we will arrange.
Thank you.
Moreover, many training programs have been arranged so that you go, keep on watch on DG Fast Lab website. Okay. 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 Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. You can discuss from me. Okay. Thank you.